Hi guys, it's Steffi from the Novelty Corner. Welcome back to my channel. What do you know? I filmed this entire video once through without the audio on. So we're going to do this again and hopefully I'll be even more concise this time around. This video is for my reading week from the 26th of November to the 2nd of December. I was finishing off my Tome Topple challenge. I am participating in the TBR Knockdown 24 challenge on Instagram, and it is also the start of the Love Oz YA reading challenge month hosted by the YA Room. So there is a lot going on. I read 4 books and started a 5th book this week. I read 1,844 pages, which is pretty good. Thank you, Tome Topple, for big books and lots of pages. I've also read 243 books so far this year, and I'm hoping by the end of the month that I will hit 250 books. I'm pretty sure I can do that and even go a little bit further, which is going to be fantastic because I have a lot of books planned to read for the Love Oz YA reading challenge, and I have a video about that coming out later this week. I was also really fortunate to be able to share a video up on the YA Room's channel this weekend. It is the creation of my Love Oz YA zine. It's a recommendation zine. I will leave a link to it up on the screen above so that you can check it out. Please do go over there, support the girls, because this reading month is so exciting and it's great to be able to celebrate all things Australian authors. Right, let's get into the reviews. The first book that I read this week was Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. This is obviously a 2017 release by Bloomsbury. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It is the 6th book in the Throne of Glass series, and as such, anything that I say about it is going to be spoilery. So continue at your own risk. I'll hold this up until I finish speaking about it, and then you can unmute me if you would like to. This story runs parallel with Empire of Storms because Cale wasn't in Empire of Storms. At the end of Queen of Shadows, he was severely injured and he has traveled to the southern continent with Nezran in order to find a way to be healed. This book deals with what it is like to be in a wheelchair, and I thought that aspect of it was done quite well. There are days when Cale copes and there are days when he really doesn't, and I think that's understandable and that's relatable. I also really liked Nezran in this book. Once she makes her own decisions and begins and decides to travel on her own path, she becomes so much more powerful as a character, and I really liked that. There were some things that I really liked in this, and I liked the introduction of Irene Towers, although her storyline was really predictable. But there were also things that I really didn't like. The first being the fact that this was supposed to be a novella and it is over 600 pages. It's nearly 700 pages long, and most of this felt like filler. I think it could have been condensed and it could have been told in a much more concise and powerful way. The second thing being that it also felt like this book hadn't been edited, especially in the first half. Some of the sentences didn't even make sense. When you have to read a sentence 2 or 3 times over in your head to try and work out what the author's trying to say, that's a bit odd, because the full stops were in the wrong places. So I liked it because I do like Cale as a character, and I was really disappointed with the treatment of his character in Queen of Shadows and the fact that he wasn't included at all in Empire of Storms. I think as a character he's such potential, but he is written rather poorly overall. So yes, mixed feelings about this book. And the problem with the Throne of Glass series now is that I'm 6 books in, so I'm gonna have to see it out because man, that's a lot of investment. Then I read Caliban'S War, which is the 2nd book in the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey. This I read for Tome Topple for the Read an Adult book. It is a 2012 release from Orbit, and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I love this series. Obviously, again, also part of a series, so it's really hard to talk about this book without talking spoilers, but this story is told from the perspective of multiple characters. The first character being a Martian soldier who is stationed on Jupiter's largest moon, and when her platoon is attacked by a very monstrous creature, she is left to sort of unravel the mystery of who and what it was that attacked her and her troops. On Earth, a politician is struggling to prevent an all-out war between Earth and Mars while trying to, maneuver everything to her political gain. After the events of the first book, Leviathan Wakes, the alien protomolecule has sort of taken over Venus and is doing some really strange things down there, and no one really quite knows what's going on. Jim Holden and the crew of the Rossi are still trying to live and work in space, and they get involved in the search for a missing child. And all of these stories sort of weave together and come to a head, and all the characters come together, and it is just compelling and exciting, and it's everything that I love in a space drama, and I'm so happy that I've read this because as soon as I finish watching Grimm, I'm going to finish watching The Expanse now that I've read this series. Next up is the start of my Love Osway reading month. If you are subscribed to my channel, you will have seen me post my video about the creation of my Love Osway month passport. I'm using this to keep track of all the books that I read. I am going to be doing a little bit of crafting inside this passport, and it is going to be for each of the books that I read. So I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to cut the footage of that decorating at the end of each book discussion or at the end of each wrap-up video. So you'll see before I know in this particular filming video what I'm going to do, because I'm going to put it together when I'm editing. But yes, I just thought it would be fun to incorporate a little bit of crafting into my wrap-up video. So I hope that you guys like it. If you don't, let me know in the comments, or if you do like it, let me know down in the comments as well. So the first book that I read for the bingo challenge is Sister Hart by Sally Morgan. This is a 2015 release from Fremantle Press, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It is a story told in verse, and it is about a young Indigenous girl who is taken from her family and sent to live and work in a children's home where other Indigenous children have been taken. So it is obviously part of Australia's history that is really confronting, and it is a part of our history that is really upsetting and distressing. So while I was reading this, it was, it was really confronting, and I'm so glad that I read it because I think we need to read these stories, and it is a part of the history that we cannot hide from and we cannot, sweep under the rug. And it is through these books that we can teach compassion and empathy and try and move towards a better future in Australia. So I'm really glad that I read this. It is really powerful. The main character in this story, who is given the name Annie, is struggling to reconcile what has happened to her and where she is, and to make new friends and to live within the new rules of the white people who are telling her what to do. Yes, a very, very powerful read. I read Sister Hart for the Bingo Square Read a Book that was shortlisted for a Gold Inky. So the Inky Awards are obviously an Australian young adult book award hosted by the Insider Dog team. Then I read Hexenhaus by Nikki McWatters. I am reading this for the challenge Read a Book from a Small Press, although I'm not entirely sure if University of Queensland Press is considered a small press, but I'm going to say yes because I don't have a lot of their books and I don't see them all the time. But feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. This book was published in 2016. It is historical fiction as well. In fact, actually the 3 books that I've started reading for the reading challenge are actually historical fiction books. It tells the story of 3 girls throughout history and their experiences with the witch hunts. In 1628, Veronica and her brother are fleeing into the German woods after their father is burned at the stake. Her story is one of persevering in a time where anyone associated with anyone accused of being a witch is in real danger, and it is about the people that she meets, it is about her experiences, the way she survives in a very hostile environment, and it was very, very informative while also being truly horrific. The second character is Catherine, and she is a young Scottish maid at the turn of the 18th century, and she finds herself being caught up in a political situation that many others are spinning into its own form of witch hunting, and her story is quite tragic. And then the third story is told in the present day as Paisley, a teenager living in a small town, is confronted by small town rules when the townspeople begin to accuse her mother, who is a new age, free-spirited, hippie-style, tarot reading, lovely woman. She has everyone's best interests at heart, but she decides to help one of the young boys in the town, and suddenly the town turns on her as people's prejudices begin to show and their lack of understanding of people who are different for them come to the fore. All these stories are connected, and you don't discover the connection until towards the end of the book. There were things about it that I really liked. I loved Paisley's story. That was really relatable. It was set in a contemporary setting, so I guess that's what it was. The other 2 stories are quite hard to read because of the historical elements, and you can tell that a lot of research has been done to make this historically accurate, and as such, it's quite confronting about some of the things that you read. Overall, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. And the 5th book that I started is Freedom Swimmer by Y. Chim. This is also a Lovers YA. It is also historical fiction, and I am reading it for the Free Square Challenge. It is a 2016 release published by Allen & Unwin. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because I'm going to talk about it next week, but it is set during Mao's China and follows the story of 2 boys who are discovering what they want from their life. So these are the books that I read. Great reading week. Thank you, Tome Topple, for giving me big books to read because I love them. Stay tuned on Wednesday. I'm going to be sharing my reading challenge TBR for this month. And on Friday, I am hoping to share some Love Oz YA gift recommendations with everyone. So I hope that you guys enjoy those videos. As always, feel free to chat to me in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys. Definitely go and check out the YA room this month because they're going to have tons of really great Love Oz YA themed videos coming out, as well as on their blog. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're having a wonderful day, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.